Hoi.
We've been married for 52 years. It's more than 5 decades. I cannot believe. It sounds so long. And it was not easy. It was really, actually quite difficult, but a lot of love. In this video, we'll share our joys, our happiness, our differences, our lessons, our mistakes, especially mine, our successes and our challenges. We are Jannie and Suzanne, and we would like to share our life and love story with you. In 1971, we met. My mom warned us because we were going to my brother in Johannesburg. My mom warned us against leather jackets and ducktails and so on. And here, Jannie was a blind date. And
I wasn't blind then, I'm blind now.
And when I met him, he wore a leather jacket.
It wasn't a leather jacket.
It was a fake leather.
It was a plastic fake leather jacket.
It's okay.
Nearly like a leopard print.
It was in fashion. No, it was not leopard print. Never. You will not wear something like that.
Funny leopard.
But I couldn't believe it. It was love at first sight for me. I don't know, for you, was it not? Or were you not in love with me then?
She had a nice bone.
I still have, don't I? It's a bit saggy, but it's fine.
Can you imagine? I fell in love with the bum. Not really. She was a very cool girl.
But you guys, in 1972, Jannie went, and of course I grew up in the R, so I had to go back after this holiday, and we were so much in love, and to be not together, it was something terrible.
Do you know where the R is?
It's in the middle of the
It's in the middle of nowhere.
No, it's not. It's
when
beautiful.
I got there the first time, I had to tie it to the washing line, take the wheelbarrow, walk around her for half a day to make her used to traffic.
That's a story he loves telling everybody, but I was not that stupid. The Karoo is beautiful. You must come one day. It's really a beautiful area of our country. So Jannie then in 1972, while I was still at school, he went to the South African Navy and he became a diver. I was so, so proud of him. Only 15 guys are chosen and actually finish in a year, in an intake, as Jannie would say. So when he came back in 1973, I think you came back at the end of July.
End of July, we did.
Yeah.
Those days we did 12 months.
Yeah, compulsory.
So I went to Saldanha Bay for my basics. Then we went up to Simonstown to do the swimming tests and so forth.
Swimming test.
We did. Oh. You had to swim like a mile and then go underwater and stay there for 2 minutes or 20 minutes. I don't know, I can't remember. And you pass all those things, then you go to the decompression chamber where they take you down to about 100, 200 feet to see if you can handle it. And when you come out there and you pass all these tests, I think it was over a few days, then all hell breaks loose when you start training there.
Yeah, those were the days. So, and it was terrible to be apart. I think Jannie hiked 22,000
kilos
to come and visit. So every possible moment we wanted to
can imagine
spend
what
together.
a bum used to look like.
I was only 15 and a half years old when we met, and Jannie was 18. So you can imagine. I never thought of consequences.
I was wise those days, at 18 already.
Yeah. In any case, so when he came out...
73.
In 73, we wanted to be together forever. And we got engaged. And then in December on the 8th, we got married. 1973. About a month before we got married, it was obvious that we will be in the same trade as Jannie's family, they had a big construction company. And we then decided to do our own thing. And we founded our plumbing company in 1973, a month before we got married. So with nothing. And it was just great. And my fairy tale started. And I got married because I wanted children. I wanted children so badly. And I was so scared, what if I can't have children and so on. And then...
I remember my dad said, if we asked if we could get married, he said, how are you going to look after her?
And I don't want to be looked after. I want to work with you.
We'll look after ourselves. Don't you worry.
Yeah. So 11 months after we got married, our first princess was born. It was a cesarean. I'm not going to go into that. So those days, she of course was in an incubator after her birth, and they only brought her to me 3 days after she was born. Jannie tried to describe this little beautiful, perfect baby to me, and his face just lit up. You know, we were only children. You can't believe it.
I think we've forgotten already.
Yeah, all these things.
We've forgotten the real true feelings that you had those days. We talk about this now, but it's not the same.
It's
as
amazing.
When you're living it, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I opened Sunay up, and the little blanket and everything, and I cried because she had real fingerprints and 10 toes, and so absolutely perfect. And
she wanted to sneeze one day. She was going,
and it squished. So perfect, so cute.
Like a little bird chirping. How much did you weigh?
6 pounds, Jannie. 5 pounds 6 ounces or something like that. Those days.
Those days were still pounds, shillings, and pennies.
Shillings and pennies with the weight. But on our way back from the hospital, we put her carry cot on top of a pile of pillows so that the people can see we've got a baby. I'll never forget that evening when I bathed her. Jannie had his hands underneath mine as well. He was so scared that I will drop this precious little thing, such a big gift from God. And how can we be worthy of such a blessing? It was really amazing.
After that, then we
had to wash our own nappies. We didn't have a washing machine.
We stayed in a flat, no washing machine.
Yeah.
No, nothing. A broom, I think. And our house was quite neat. We went to the pine shop in somewhere, I don't know where. We bought a round pine table with 4 chairs. And we went to a pawn shop, and we bought our furniture there.
Antique, and we did not even know it.
Queen and king chair with velvet covers and all that. It was nice. It was
nice.
at the Baragwana aeroplane that was on the
roof of the shop.
Of this garage on your way to Joburg.
But we really did not even realize that it was actually antique. So we had it for many, many years.
We actually sold it with a guest house.
Yeah. But, and then a year and a half later, our Adele, our second princess, was born. Another miracle. My sister would tell you that I've got a scare for anesthetic. So my
I used to run around with a bottle of anesthetic to chase her around the house.
Talking nonsense. So my heart actually stopped, and they broke a rib or two to resuscitate me while I was in the theater. And also those days, your husband was not with you when you had a baby in the theater.
I was having a beer.
But she also was perfect and so beautiful and such a blessing. And really, Sunay actually was potty trained before Adele was born, and she was only 15 months old. And she would say it was because she's so clever.
And she could swim before she.
No, that's Jana.
Jana, yeah. We used to throw money in the swimming pool. They came to me and they said, Daddy, I can dive to the bottom of the pool. I said, you talk rubbish, man. He says, no, really. I said, okay. I took a coin, threw it in the water on the deep end. She dived in and she came up with a coin. I said, I can't believe this. This child is hardly, she's not even 2 years on earth and she's diving already.
Yeah. But before Adele was born, we actually built our first house, and what a lot of fights, because I wanted my way and Yanni wanted it his way. So
we eventually went the economical way.
the fairy tale started to, in any case. So and after and Yanni put that house in the market as soon as the foundation was thrown, we made 3 times the price that what we paid for it, so we could build our second house.
She was very cross with me, but you don't double you triple your assets in like
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, but we did. He's got a mind for a very good mind.
Then we were rich. We could go overseas.
But the rand was worth more.
The rand was there was actually 2 rand, $1.
No, we got $1.22 for a rand.
For 1 rand, yeah.
Yeah.
So the rand was stronger than the dollar.
Yeah.
Could you believe that?
Yeah. But then sadly we lost 2 babies. And sure, it was not, Yanni had to cope with me, and it was really,
Yeah, I think you lost
Something
them at
that you-
about 6 months.
I can't
pregnancy.
remember, Yanni, but it was, but then of course we fell pregnant again in 1980.
I wasn't pregnant.
You still are. I'm just delivering mine. And of course the worries that we had, what if, because she also I spent 3 times in hospital, and she also wanted
To abort.
to abort, and your mind play tricks with you. What if something is wrong? What if it's God's way of saying, no, you can't have this baby now, anything. And here, this perfect little baby, after all our worries, this perfect little baby arrived. She was really perfection. Everything that we thought could go wrong was absolutely perfect. And it was amazing again. And my life felt complete. Now, of course, I could play house because little girls play house. But Yanni could not play with his toy cars and motorbikes and guns and
I
so on.
never
So
had
we
toy cars. I made my own caddy. That's all I had.
You lie, you had a lie. He was spoiled, rotten.
I only got my first toy thing that I got was a Scale Electric. But that was after I was shot. So that was,
and playing with a gun. So in the meantime, of course, we were building our business. And, Yanni taught, I did the admin initially, and then he taught me to do the tendering and to drew up my own bill of quantity and measure from the drawings and to order the materials and get quotations and do the tendering and to get the material in time for his projects and so on. So it was really wonderful, and we had big successes and so on. But I can't remember, maybe Jana was still very small, because you have your own business and it's not a 9-to-5 job. You don't stop.
talking business.
Yeah.
Talking shop, they used to call it.
Yeah, you just carry on. Yanni used to be at work on site at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then work until 4 o'clock, back up and get back to the office and did the tendering and so on.
We actually started, most of our contracts was about 40 kilometers away on the gold mines those days.
Yeah.
And we would go to my mom's house, all of us, Crocombe
Discuss the
brothers.
day.
That was my father and my uncle and my big brother. And then we would have a meeting, have tea,
And fight.
then go to the shop. No, we always fought. Then we went to the workshop, got all the stuff, loaded it to trucks, and off we went. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're on site already. And then you work tools down at 4:30. Then we come home.
That's right.
Long days. But if I look at the children of nowadays, I mean, Jana and Sinead and Adele, they work themselves to death. They're always working. It's so
Yeah.
sad. Well, I just want to win the lotto, and then we can all sit down and relax.
And all over the world they're working as well. But so being in the building trade and the sanctions against South Africa, I think it was about the end of the 80s that life was difficult in South Africa, and a lot of people lost their jobs. So, of course, the men would start something that they knew, and we called it bakkiebouwers. They would start a plumbing company or electrical company or a construction company, and really did not know how. So the competition was more and bigger.
Now, in those days, we only had 5 companies working for Anglo-American Goldfields, all those mining companies.
Yeah.
And then when it started getting tough, they started taking tenders from people that weren't up to it, and that's when all the trouble started, those days already.
Yeah. So, of course, we went to Europe when the kids were still little, just to cut off and so on. But we missed them so much. It was really, you can't believe. The very first day that we arrived in Madrid, we only went for 10 days. We couldn't see ourselves being away from the kids for longer. We bought the most beautiful dolls that you could not get in South Africa those days. And I had to carry these big boxes all 10 days long. And of course, when we got home, they opened and so on. But then I was fortunate working for Jannie. I had flexible hours as well, and I could take them to ballet classes and to tennis lessons and all those kind of things.
So,
But you know what? This is going to be too long, so we have to stop and make a part 2. And
part 2, second video, but the most important thing for staying married for such a long time
trust.
is don't wait until you're 52, because I guarantee you won't make 50 years.
But so, guys, thank you for watching. We'll make another one, a continued one, and carry on where we
Left off.
where we stop now. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.